An emotionally absent father is a father who is physically present but emotionally missing. He may be in the same house, sitting at the dinner table, or even driving you to school, but he is not truly there with you. His mind and heart seem to be somewhere else entirely. He might provide for your physical needs, like food and a roof over your head, but he does not connect with your feelings. He does not ask about your day with real interest. He does not notice when you are sad, or celebrate with you when you are happy. It is like living with a shadow, a person you can see but cannot reach. This creates a quiet, invisible emptiness in a child's heart. This kind of absence is often hard to explain because there are no obvious signs of neglect. Your friends might see your father at your soccer games and think you have a great dad, but you feel the void. You feel the space where emotional connection should be. For example, when you come home excited to share a good grade, he might just nod without looking up from the newspaper. Or if you are crying because a friend hurt your feelings, he might awkwardly pat your shoulder or tell you to toughen up. He does not know how to enter your emotional world. This leaves you feeling alone, even when you are not physically by yourself. Imagine a child who builds a magnificent castle out of blocks, their face beaming with pride. They run to their father, eager to show him their creation. The father glances at it for a second, says, "That's nice," and immediately turns his attention back to the television. The child's bright smile slowly fades. In that small moment, a powerful message is sent. Your feelings and your accomplishments are not important. This happens over and over, day after day. It is not one big event that causes the wound, but 1,000 tiny moments of emotional disconnection that slowly teach a child to hide their feelings away, believing they do not matter. This emotional distance creates a deep sense of confusion for a child. You love your father, but you also feel a constant, nagging sadness around him. You might even start to believe that something is wrong with you. You might think, if I were better, or quieter, or smarter, maybe he would notice me. You try to be the perfect child, hoping to finally earn his attention and love. But his absence is not about you, it is about his own inability to connect with emotions. Understanding this is the first step, but it is a difficult truth for a child to grasp. The feeling of being unseen by the person who should see you most clearly is a heavy weight to carry. The pain of growing up with an emotionally absent father leaves invisible scars. These are not bruises you can see, but deep wounds on your heart. One of the most common feelings is a profound sense of loneliness. This is a loneliness that can exist even when you are surrounded by people. You learned from a young age that your inner world was a private place, not to be shared. You did not have a father who would sit with you and listen to your worries or your dreams. So, you learned to keep them locked inside. This creates a feeling of being fundamentally alone in the world, as if no one could ever truly understand the real you. Another deep scar is a persistent, quiet sadness. It is like a constant background hum in your life. You might not even know why you feel sad. It just seems to be a part of who you are. This sadness comes from all the unmet emotional needs of your childhood. It is the grief for the father-child relationship you wished you had. It is the pain of all the moments you needed comfort and did not receive it. When you needed guidance and were met with silence. When you needed to feel cherished and were instead overlooked. This underlying sadness can drain your energy and make it difficult to feel genuine joy and happiness in your life. This emotional neglect also plants seeds of self-doubt and low self-worth. When a parent does not respond to your emotions, you start to believe your emotions are wrong or unimportant. You might feel like you are too much or too sensitive. A child's logic is simple. My father doesn't pay attention to my feelings, so my feelings must not matter. This belief can follow you for a lifetime. You might constantly question your own instincts and emotions. You may struggle to believe that you deserve love and attention from others because you did not receive it from one of the most important people in your life. Confusion is another heavy weight. You saw other children with their fathers laughing and talking with ease. You wondered why your experience was so different. This confusion can make you feel like an outsider, like you do not belong. You might have even felt angry at your father, but then felt guilty for feeling that way. After all, he was providing for you. This mix of love, anger, guilt, and sadness is incredibly confusing for a child's mind to process. You learn to push these complicated feelings down because there is no safe place to explore them. This buried confusion becomes another invisible wound you carry. The invisible wounds of childhood do not simply disappear when we grow up. Instead, they echo into our adult lives, shaping our relationships and our view of ourselves. One of the most significant echoes is difficulty with trust. If you could not rely on your own father for emotional support, it becomes very hard to trust that others will be there for you. You might keep people at a distance, afraid to let them get too close. You may fear that if you show your true feelings, they will be dismissed or ignored, just like they were in your childhood. This can make it challenging to build deep, meaningful friendships and romantic partnerships. Another powerful echo is a deep-seated feeling of being invisible or unimportant. You may find yourself constantly seeking approval from others, always trying to prove your worth. You might become a people pleaser, putting everyone else's needs before your own, because you learned that your needs do not matter. In meetings at work, you might stay silent, even when you have a great idea, because you believe no one wants to hear what you have to say. This feeling of being unseen can prevent you from pursuing your goals and living a full, authentic life. It is the voice of the neglected child, still whispering that you are not enough. Many adults who grew up with an emotionally absent father struggle to understand and manage their own emotions. Because your feelings were ignored, you never learned how to identify them, express them in a healthy way, or soothe yourself when you are upset. You might feel overwhelmed by your emotions, or you might feel completely numb, disconnected from them altogether. This is called poor emotional intelligence. It can lead to problems like sudden bursts of anger, chronic anxiety, or a feeling of being empty inside. You are, in a sense, running on empty, lacking the emotional fuel you were never given. Finally, you may find yourself repeating the pattern in your own relationships. Without realizing it, you might choose partners who are also emotionally distant, because that is what feels familiar. Or you may struggle to be emotionally present for your own children, because you never had a role model to show you how. This is not because you are a bad person, it is because you are replaying what you learned. The cycle of emotional neglect can continue from one generation to the next. Recognizing these echoes is the first brave step toward breaking the cycle and creating a different future for yourself and for those you love. Healing from the wound of an emotionally absent father is a journey, but it is a journey filled with hope. The first step is to acknowledge the pain. You must give yourself permission to grieve the emotional support you never received. It is okay to feel sad or angry about what you missed. Your feelings are valid. For so long, you may have told yourself, it wasn't that bad. But recognizing the truth of your experience is like lighting the first candle in a dark room. It does not erase the darkness, but it allows you to see the path forward. Naming the problem, emotional neglect, gives you power over it. One of the most powerful ways to heal is to find the emotional connection you have always craved. This can be done by talking to a trusted friend, a supportive partner, or a professional therapist. A good therapist can provide a safe space where you can explore your feelings without judgment. They can act as the emotionally attuned parent you never had, helping you understand your past and learn new skills. Sharing your story with someone who truly listens and cares can be incredibly healing. It teaches you that your feelings do matter and that you are not alone. This is how you begin to fill the emptiness inside. Healing also involves becoming the parent you needed for yourself. This means learning to listen to your own feelings with compassion. When you feel sad, allow yourself to feel sad instead of pushing it away. When you feel proud, celebrate your own accomplishments. Start paying attention to your own needs and wants. This is a process of reparenting yourself. You can learn to give yourself the validation, comfort, and encouragement that your father could not provide. It is about treating yourself with the kindness and respect you have always deserved. This internal connection is a foundation for lasting strength and self-worth. Finally, remember that healing is not about blaming your father, but about freeing yourself. It is about understanding that his emotional absence was about his limitations, not your worth. As you heal, you will find that the empty chair at your emotional table becomes less prominent. You will fill your life with people who see you and cherish you. You will learn to trust yourself and others. The invisible wounds will begin to fade, replaced by a newfound sense of wholeness. The journey may be long, but it is possible to move from a place of emptiness to a life filled with connection, joy, and purpose. You can heal.